On May 4th, the cosmic tides are shifting in a profound and powerful way. While all the planets are moving forward, one planet is challenging this order. Pluto. Yes, Pluto is moving almost outside the system. As of May 4th, Pluto starts its retrograde journey. This is not just another planetary retrograde. This is Pluto, the ruler of transformation, death, rebirth, and the shadows we are afraid to face. When Pluto turns inward, so do we. When Pluto starts moving backwards, nothing stays the same. The undercurrents of the soul begin to stir, and what is buried refuses to remain hidden. This retrograde motion is a cosmic invitation, or perhaps a demand, to face the truth beneath the surface. Patterns we thought we left behind may return. Power dynamics, control issues, and long-suppressed emotions can rise in intensity. But with Pluto, nothing happens without purpose. This is a descent with meaning, a journey to reclaim our power where we have given it away. Stay tuned, as I will tell you what Pluto retrograde in Aquarius is asking of you, how it can reshape your inner world, and how this retrograde can be a turning point, not only in your personal transformation, but also in the collective evolution we are all part of. Before we go into this, I want you to do 3 things. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave the number 777 in the comments. You can also share it with someone you want to benefit from this video and support their spiritual awakening. Now let's go deeper. On May 4th, there will be a deep silence in the sky. But don't be fooled. This silence is not a sign of peace, but of an approaching storm in the depths of your soul. Pluto, the planet of transformation, power, control, and the darkest psychological truths, is now going retrograde. And when Pluto goes retrograde, it not only reverses its course in the sky, it drags you inward, into your past. It takes you back to forgotten memories on the dusty shelves of your mind, wounds you thought were gone, repressed fears, and deeply buried emotions. This is not a retrograde that is easily felt on the surface. Pluto works deeply, it is silent, but its impact is inevitable. It makes itself felt with sudden, intense emotions, uncontrollable reactions, recurring dreams, or a stuckness inside you that you can't define. An outburst of anger that you think belongs to today is actually the sound of a wound from years ago. Pluto shows you again everything you thought was not over yet. This is a period when you will hold a mirror to yourself, but this mirror shows your essence, not your face. Who are you when no one is watching? What are you still afraid of? When, to whom, or what did you surrender your power? To a person? To an identity? A trauma? Pluto wants you to reclaim that power, but first it makes you understand why you gave it up. For the next months, the universe will not speak loudly, but it will be watching you carefully. It will test you with unexpected situations, sudden confrontations, or intense emotions. You may feel that someone is trying to control you, or maybe it is you who is trying to keep everything under control. Maybe you'll suddenly want to break a habit that makes no sense. That's when Pluto's influence comes into play, because he comes to purify, not to destroy. It destroys illusions and reveals the truth. This retrograde is taking place in Aquarius. It brings up themes related to the future, collective consciousness, systems, social structures, and technology. In other words, transformation will not only take place on an individual level, but also on a societal level. It's time to face these questions. Are you really free, or are you submitting to the rules of others without even realizing it? Do you dare to step out of the roles that society has assigned to you? Pluto in Aquarius asks, what kind of future are we building, and who will be in power? The energy of this retrograde will trigger profound changes in both individual lives and social structures. An irreversible inner journey begins, because when Pluto turns inward, there is no escape. The only way forward is to go through it. And no one comes out of this journey the same as before. This is the beginning of rebirth. If you've been feeling that everything has been blocked in some way, lately you're not alone. If you feel that your inner conversations are echoing, that your conversations with people are lost in the void, that something is wrong with you even though you can't explain why, know that these feelings are all coming from somewhere. There is a plan, and Pluto is at the center of that plan. But there's a lot more to tell, and I'm not going to tell it right now. We need to look elsewhere first. First, you have to understand this. Pluto is not only the planet of transformation. It is the one that opens the door to transformation, but leaves it up to you what you go in and do. It does not hold a key. You are the key, but now that door is really open. On May 4th, 2025, Pluto starts its retrograde in Aquarius. And this is not just any retro. This is not the retreat of an energy shouldering the change of the age, but rather a critical process of internal adjustment that will determine how power is redistributed in the new age. This is because for the first time in over 200 years, Pluto remains in Aquarius without returning to Capricorn. And even though it is retrograde, it physically refuses to go back. This is no longer symbolism. This is reality. In astrology, Pluto entering a sign is an event that changes the energy of generations. It brings destruction, then it builds. First, it takes away power, then it gives it back to see if you really know what to do with it. And now, this process is happening in Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the collective, humanity, systems, future, freedom, and technology. Pluto in Aquarius means that not only individuals, but also societies are facing transformation. But it's in a very special place right now. From 3 degrees to 1 degree, it is slowly retreating. So this energy has not been fully utilized yet. We are only on the threshold. The door is open, but not fully entered. Pluto has stepped into a new world, but only a few steps. Now he is standing where he is, observing, preparing, and it is also preparing you. This is the time to face the shadow aspects of Pluto. Power games, the desire to control, ideas, obsessions, identities that you stubbornly can't give up. All of these can come your way. Because Pluto restarts when you think something is over. It reveals your weak links. It points fingers at the points you can't stand. And if things are not happening during this period, if it feels like people don't understand you, things are constantly postponed, plans are cancelled, conversations are left unfinished, the reason is this: the universe is slowing you down because you need to look inwards. This is not a punishment, it is an opportunity, an internal restructuring. Pluto retrogrades are times when very little changes on the surface, but there are major ruptures in our inner world. The balance of power in human relationships is questioned. Who really controls you? Who are you trying to control? In which relationship or structure do you feel stuck but can't let go? All these questions will help you get out of the shadow of Pluto and reach your essence. Pluto retrograde in Aquarius also has major impacts on the social level. States, systems, institutions, artificial intelligence, social media, technological infrastructures, all of them may enter a process of reshaping. Old structures may collapse, a new order may be signaled. New ties can be established between people, but these ties require the dissolution of old ties first. Because for Pluto to transform something, it must first destroy it. To make the most of this period, focus on your internal reactions, not on external circumstances. What are you resisting? Which emotion is weighing you down? When do you lose control, and why? All these answers hold the keys to this retrograde period for you. Remember, Pluto only opens the door. It is you who will go in and turn on the light. And the strange thing is that everything seems to have stopped. Time has slowed down. Life has paused. It's as if the universe is holding its breath, because it really has. We are in a transition zone right now. We are neither completely old nor completely new. This moment of emptiness is the most fertile moment for reorganization. The universe does not leave you in a vacuum, but sometimes it confronts you with your own emptiness. And that void can be the birthplace of a new identity, a new power. During this Pluto retrograde, the most common thing you will hear is, "I don't know." Maybe you really don't know, but that's okay, because the real issue is not what you know, but what you are ready for, and Pluto only lets in those who are ready. The others continue to wait at the doorstep. Now the door is open. Pluto is looking, and you are right there. Are you ready to come in? As Pluto retreats, you may feel yourself being drawn in. Things you used to take for granted may start to carry deeper meanings. Seemingly ordinary events may remind you of an old trauma. A conversation, a look, or just a silence. All of these things can open up those invisible doors inside you. And this jolt of ordinariness can make you restless, because your inner world wants to slow everything down, while the outer world is still pushing you to keep going fast. That's why, during the month of May, you should allow yourself these inner pauses. If you're feeling mentally tired, emotionally vulnerable, physically unmotivated, don't resist. All of these feelings are a calling. It is the beginning of a journey from the outside to the inside. May will be a month when nothing ordinary is really ordinary during this retrograde period. You will constantly receive little signals to realize the meaning behind what is happening in front of your eyes. But you may have to slow down, sometimes even stop completely, to notice these signals, because Pluto wants to pull you away from the noise of the outside world and into the deep silence within. Some of your relationships may be tested this month. Be careful, especially in matters related to the balance of power. Why are you so impatient with someone? Why do you always feel the need to be right? Or why do you always hold yourself back as if you're being ignored? Pluto will make you question these things, because it will remind you that real power is not in silencing or suppressing someone, but in facing something and letting it go. If some people are moving away from your life this month, instead of holding on to them, think about why you need them to go. Maybe you are no longer on the same frequency with those people. Perhaps Pluto is calling you to a new level of consciousness while gently pushing away those who cannot walk the same path with you. This is not a loss, but a lightening. Don't resist. Some old issues may come up again. Something you thought was resolved before may come up again. Maybe an argument, maybe an emotion, maybe a fear. These situations come back not to test you, but to show you that you need to look deeper. There's a big difference between understanding an issue and really internalizing it, and Pluto wants you to close that gap. You may not recognize yourself at times during May. Familiar feelings may be replaced by feelings you can't identify. Your old identities may slowly start to unravel. Don't let this worry you, because the dissolution of something does not mean that it disappears, but that it no longer needs to define you. Right now, many things inside you are on the verge of transformation, and this transformation may burn you first, but it cannot purify without burning. It cannot renew without destroying. This is the nature of Pluto. There is no transformation without pain, but this pain will liberate you. May can be a test of strength for you, but this strength is not physical endurance. It is a test of inner resilience. How much can you stay with yourself? How honest are you with yourself? What truths are you avoiding to face? What wounds still rule you? Pluto can bring the answers to all these questions to the surface. The most challenging thing for you during this period may be uncertainty, not knowing what will happen, losing control, plans not working. But this is where you have to make a choice, to stay in constant battle or to surrender yourself to the universe and try to hear your inner voice. Because sometimes doing nothing is the first step to fixing everything. And yes, some doors will close during May. But these closures are not the end. It is the silence before new doors open. So don't let the end of something scare you. It could be a harbinger of something bigger. It could be the birth of a new you, a more authentic you. Your intuition will be your biggest support during this month. Listen to those little whispers that come from within. Sometimes they may come through a dream, sometimes through a single sentence you read in a book, or a word you hear while walking down the street. These signs will guide you, but you will need to quiet your mind and open your heart to hear them. Remember, Pluto retrograde is not an annihilation. It is a process of inner purification, a rebirth. But this birth will not be easy, because everything wants to die before it is born. The old you, your old thoughts, your old fears, all of these may want to dissolve this month. If you hold on to them, you will suffer. But if you choose to let go, the transformation begins. One of the most powerful things you can do in May is to turn inward. Meditating, writing, following your dreams, trying to understand your emotions instead of suppressing them. All these are ways to bring you out of this retro period with strength. And know this month will not be easy for you. But this is the place that makes you who you are, because your greatest strength is found in the darkest place. The question for you now is, are you ready to enter this darkness? Are you ready to be honest with yourself, to see who you really are, to let go of what no longer works? Because Pluto is asking, do you have the courage to face your true power? And this confrontation will constantly test you throughout May. But every test brings a revelation. Every destruction brings a rebirth. Just try to understand instead of resisting, because the universe is not trying to destroy you, but to awaken the real you within you. Remember this: Pluto does not threaten you with darkness. It just waits there. It waits for you to see yourself. Whenever you decide to face the shadow inside you, that's when the light is born. And this light no longer comes from outside, it comes from within you. May is preparing the ground for the birth of this light. But birth is painful, and it takes courage to go through this pain. Do you have the courage? Because the road is now at a point of no return, and nothing will ever be the same. But that's not a bad thing. It means getting closer to the truth. You are at a time when masks are falling. Identities are changing. The balance of power is being rewritten. Just remember, everything will be as it should be in this process. Just don't be afraid, because the only reason Pluto puts you in the darkness is so that you can find your own light there. So, cosmic-wise, how can we be prepared for the impact of this retron? If you have patiently watched this far, or if you are reading these lines, know that what I'm about to share is worth gold for you. Because these are not just my invention. These are universal truths that we come across again and again in astrological books, in the writings of ancient sages, in the sentences of modern spiritual teachers. Pluto retrograde is invisible to the eye but felt with the soul. And how you manage this feeling will determine not whether this process will consume you, but whether it will transform you. Here are 5 suggestions to prepare for this energy of transformation and work more harmoniously with it. 1. Look inward. not outward. During Pluto's retrograde, you will be challenged most, not by external events, but by your inner reactions. You experience an event, maybe something small, but your reaction is out of proportion. At that very moment, take your eyes off the outside and ask yourself this question. Whose reaction is this? Is it the present moment, or a moment I repressed in the past? This is a time to practice introspection. Write down your thoughts and reactions, even for a few minutes a day. This is one of the most effective ways to shed light on your subconscious. Second, question your relationship with power. Pluto is the planet of power and control. But we are in an age where we have forgotten what power is. So I ask you, have you given power to someone else? A person, an authority, a past trauma, society's expectations? This retrograde is the time to take that power back, but not by force, by realizing it. Everywhere you try to control is actually where you lose your power. Recognize it. Pull it back. Return it to yourself. 3. Don't reject your shadow sides, embrace them. We all have aspects that we suppress, ignore, are ashamed of. Jealousy, anger, insecurity, ambition, need for control. Pluto comes to illuminate these shadows. The more you reject them, the more they overtake you. But when you accept them, that's when freedom begins. Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung once said, "A man who has not faced his own darkness is doomed to see it as an enemy outside." Darkness does not make you weak. It makes you stronger when you recognize it, when you start dancing with it. Because no light is complete without facing its own shadow. 4. Learn to let go. Pluto is destructive, but it only destroys structures that no longer serve you. During this period, you can grieve for everything that has slipped away, but also ask the question, why am I still holding on to this? Relationships, roles, thought patterns, identities. Maybe they once served you, but they no longer make space. They take up space. Letting go is sometimes not a decision, but a courage. Be brave. 5. Create ritual. Get rooted. It is very important to come to the center mentally, emotionally, and physically in this process. As the Pluto retreat will pull you deeper, create simple rituals in your daily life that will balance you. A few minutes of breath work when you get up in the morning, writing things down at the end of the day, lighting a candle, and making an intention. Ritual is an orderly and simple way of getting in touch with your soul. And in this order, consciousness develops, not resistance to chaos. And most importantly, surrender to this process. This is a time when it is impossible to control or understand everything, because Pluto always works with power in places we don't know. It goes to our roots, to our depths. And sometimes going deeper means realizing the darkness that we cannot see, that we cannot feel. As Pluto moves retrograde, you will notice that something starts to change internally. Sometimes it won't be a big epiphany that happens all at once. It's a process, a journey. But after this retrograde, something will be different. And you will realize it. For some, this retrograde can be very challenging. Emotions, pains of the past, repressed fears will resurface. Some may feel more loneliness during this period, while others may experience deep conflicts in relationships. Whatever happens in whatever area, when you look back, you will clearly see that this period has changed you. But remember, this change doesn't always have to be painful. For some, this retrograde will be much better, because change always means a new beginning. It will create a world where everything looks and feels different. There will be a purification in your mind and a new wisdom in your heart. In this process, you will discover more than one version of yourself. Stronger, freer, and more whole. Whether some people are badly affected and others are uplifted depends entirely on how they approach it. Those who follow the advice I mentioned above will go through this process more effectively, because Pluto moves retrograde to transform you, not to scare you. But this transformation is often challenged by the desire to control, resist, or reject. The more you resist, the more difficult it becomes. The more we accept, the easier the journey becomes. That's why you need to surrender to this process. Accept that you cannot figure out the meaning of everything. When you are trying to find your way in the darkness, start trusting to take a step forward. To grow your spiritual consciousness, focus not on what is stopping you, but on what you accept to recreate you. Because in your search for truth, sometimes you may have to get lost on a dark path. But when you surrender to the universe, everything will become much easier. Thank you for watching. If this video has supported your spiritual journey, please send it to someone you love so they can benefit from it too. Bye for now.